Hi, I'm Jodi Carlton, a neurodiverse relationship expert, and I hope you've been enjoying season 5 of my podcast, Your Neurodiverse Relationship. This whole season has been about the question of whether or not neurodiverse relationships can work. And I've interviewed so many couples and partners about their own relationships and how they discovered neurodiversity and the strategies they've been using to make their relationships work. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch because it's so inspiring seeing these couples talk about their challenges, but also their wins, the beautiful ways that their relationships have thrived. We have 2 more couples to go, which is going to be 4 more episodes, but we've decided to take December off. My team has been working so hard to get this podcast out to you, and I'm going to give them a break. So we're going to finish the season starting back in January, but I wanted to give you this special bonus episode from my chat with my friends Randall and Ashley, who had a lot to say about the holidays. And so I didn't want you to miss out on that part of their episode since we're going into the holidays. So here it is for you. Happy holidays. It's hard on neurodiverse couples. So also, if you need some help and support, go over to my website, jodicarlton.com, and click on courses because I have a special course just for you about how to get through the holidays as a neurodiverse couple. It's got some really good stuff in there. Go check it out. Happy holidays and see you soon.
I know with the holidays coming up, talking about the routine and changes in the routine and things like that, the holidays are one of the most stressful times of the year for me. And so I want to say a few things in the hopes that maybe other people who are struggling with the same thing might understand. We do try to find some humor in the things that we've learned. And when we first met, I told her that I do not like surprises. She says, well, I partially believed you. Certainly people like good surprises, though. And then she realized that when I said I don't like surprises, I don't like surprises of any kind.
Right.
And holidays bring a lot of surprises, and people, are doing so with good faith effort, like gifts. I don't like gifts.
Right.
Because when someone hands me a gift that's wrapped and I don't know what's in it, I don't know how I'm supposed to react when I open it because I don't know what it is. I don't have time to, prepare myself for the reaction that I'm supposed to have. And so getting a wrapped present is one of the most stressful things in the world for me.
One thing on that we've learned is as a neurotypical, it feels so wrong because even from a little kid, you're told, don't tell people what their gift is.
Oh, right.
Do not tell. But we've learned that if I know what his gift is before he gets it, I tell him because that gives him time to process before he opens it. And it's not a surprise anymore.
You're talking about surprises. It's uncertainty. Uncertainty is like the nightmare of the autistic brain, and gifts are uncertain unless you get some heads up. So anybody's listening, no surprise parties, okay? No surprise parties. This is not a good thing. And, a lot of people who are autistic don't like gifts at all. They don't like giving gifts either, because how do I even predict if someone's going to like a gift? What gift do I give them? That's not a surprise to you, but it's also uncertainty. And I think a lot of neurotypical partners don't understand that because they'll give their spouse or even their kids, their neurodivergent kids or parents, a gift and then feel hurt by just a blank response or, even a response that's a little bit hurtful, but not intended to be hurtful because there was no preparation. So I think that's really valuable, what you're sharing there. What else about the holidays?
Some of the best life hacks that I've learned are, keep your routine as much as you can before and after the event to make sure your battery's charged. You gave me the advice years ago on the days that there's a family event, don't plan anything else. It's all about charging up your battery before you go and then having time to recover afterwards. And this is not necessarily related to just holidays, but whenever you go out, this was another funny story that we have. We were planning to go out to eat at a Mexican restaurant in town. And we got in the car. We drove to the restaurant. The restaurant parking lot was very crowded. So I kept driving. And then Ashley is looking at me and she says, what are you doing? Well, that was going to be stressful for me. So I just, drove right past and, kept going. So now we know that whenever we go out, and I think I actually picked this tip up from a guy who lives in England, But he said he always has a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C before he leaves the house. And that way, if plan A, that plan goes by somehow, he's got his other two plans. So if you go to the Mexican restaurant and it's full, then you need to have another restaurant picked out as your plan B. And that has made things so much less stressful because we know we've got backup plans in place. And that still then becomes part of the plan.
Right.
You don't have to worry about one thing derailing everything.
So there's no surprise. You've built in your options. So now if plan A doesn't work out, you've already got your options. And then you can do that just as an individual person in your life, but as a couple, especially if you're going to, like you said, Mexican restaurant or to a family event, just to have all those different options planned out ahead of time so that you're all on the same page, you know what the plans are. And I really tell couples too to agree upon some kind of code word or hand gesture or signal or text or something to communicate when you need to engage plan B or you need to take a break or whatever it is. Just that pre-planning and preparation can be so pivotal to having a positive experience versus ending up having a meltdown.
Yeah, it's really great. And by the way, one of our code words from a movie is, of course, mistletoe. So in the holidays, when it's getting to be too much, you just use the code word mistletoe.
Meet me under the mistletoe. That's great. I love that.
I think I would add about the tips for the holidays is it always is better on him if he can have like a day after all of the holidays to rest and recover. And I think it helps him going into it because he knows he has that day after. Because when he has to, on Sunday, have a get-together, and then on Monday he's in work, he usually has a very difficult time on Monday. And he may melt down at some point after. But he doesn't do that as much if he can have a day to just relax.
Yeah, I think that's really important around the holidays, but also just when you go on vacations or trips to not plan to get back the day before going back to work, to give yourself a recovery day or two if possible. If it's a longer event versus just an afternoon with the family, that recovery is so important. You know, as you guys were talking, I'm thinking, I have my holiday course that's like tips and strategies to get through the holidays. And I just released it again for this year. And I talk about so many of these things. You guys have really learned and incorporated it into your lives. And so I think it's so helpful for people to hear how you've started using these tips and it's really made a huge impact on your life, your quality of life and your relationship quality.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Be sure to subscribe or follow the podcast so you won't miss any of these amazing interviews. And as always, if you're benefiting and enjoying this podcast, please give us a review. It really helps other people know that this podcast is really beneficial and worth listening to. Thanks for watching on YouTube or tuning in to your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to visit me online at jodicarlton.com for more resources. I have assessment quizzes, educational articles, courses, and more. And if you have any questions, just reach out to my team at gethelp@jodicarlton.com. Until next time.